And we're live.
Heck yeah.
I'm not sitting in a hole. Every week I think, and I've got to figure it out. What would it take to make Carla not look like she's in a hole? But I don't know. I feel like I look lower than you do. Maybe I don't. I feel like I need a phone book. Like it's like at
Here.
Thanksgiving when you were little and they would make you sit on a phone book. Do you remember that?
Yes. If I sit back, no, it didn't.
No, we just got to leave it. I know. It's yeah. People are probably super into the fact that every week I open with my setup. So I am going to open with a full sentence that I've been thinking about.
Okay.
And this is kind of a rehash, but I think about it a lot. We talk about it a lot. Friends who are dating, people I'm coaching, and we lament the fact dating apps have ruined organic connection. Because I know you've said a few times, I wish that it was like it used to be, or I wish it could be organic connection.
Yeah, over the, leaks at Whole Foods.
It is, and it's funny you say that because that was what was in my head. It's the whole, have we mythologized that idea of organic connection? And did it ever happen? In my head, it was, or did like one person meet over the watermelons in HEB once ages ago, and we all have clung to that? And I've also been thinking because I don't know if I've mentioned lately that I'm doing kind of a job search, but I can romanticize, and a lot of us laugh about it. Like the 1950s, wasn't it, easier? Everything was cheaper and you were able to afford a house and it was so great back then. It probably wasn't so great back then either. Like we tend to romanticize things when we're not in them.
Yes. And it's such a temptation. Like you're talking about the job. Remember when you used to just take your resume someplace and you handed it to a person and they
we
talk
maybe
to you?
But I think we that's it. We used to do that with ourselves. Like my now I'm getting really off track, but my younger sister, love her. She lives by me in Austin, and she was not great with grammar when she was little, and we'd play hide and go seek, and she would jump up when I couldn't find her and shout, "Here me are!" And so that became like family lore. So I imagine that with the resumes, like we used to be able to just like walk in somewhere. Here me are. Get the job. So it's the same, I think, with the organic connection. Like apps have added a layer where we don't have to be quite as vulnerable, and yet we can still put ourselves out there. I mean, I met my then husband on, it's called the Pat bus. I think it must be Pittsburgh area transit when I was taking it to Pitt to get my master's. And he just came up to me on the bus. I can't remember what he said, but was super vulnerable. And it was organic connection. He had no idea I could have been dating someone. And it demands of us, and we can still do it in 2026, that putting ourselves out there.
Yeah, I love the mythology or the folklore because it's
Yes.
really having me examine what is that just something we've romanticized and it's not actually true or applicable that you can't still meet organically.
And it's definitely not true. Like you could go up to, and I bought into this as well. Like I, as coach, kind of got sucked into the, I know dating apps, but you just can't anymore. I walk around my neighborhood a lot. And years ago, I was training for I think it was the Oakland, California marathon. So I don't do speed. Here's where we announce that maybe we will do a marathon together here at some point soon,
Yeah.
but just time on feet. So I was out in the neighborhood a lot, and I used to pass somebody, this man, and he would always say, maybe like once a week, "Hi, Walker girl." And I would think to myself, is he making fun of me? Is he like laughing at me? And then one day he just came up and said, "Hate to interrupt you, but I see you every morning. I kind of pace myself by you if I'm early or late, and I would like to take a walk with you sometime." Like super gutsy. And you know what? Long story longer. I was kind of ambivalent and probably said yes because it was the sheer vulnerability of it all.
As you're telling that story, I'm wondering, did he have like the trench coat on and the little the sunglasses. Did he step out from behind a bush and say, "Hey, Walker lady, did you?"
Oh my God. Think about that. The better part of the story is I agreed to go out with him, and then it's always hot here, so I guess I was walking early, and so he texted and said, "Let's meet. Let's do a walk at 5 a.m." And I remember thinking, oh my Lord, like I may be able to walk at 5 a.m. barely, but carrying on a conversation, a first date. But I said yes because of that. I mean, on some level, the coach and psychologist in me thinks, not psychologists, don't have a degree, reward the behavior you want to continue. And I just thought, I'm really impressed you're putting yourself out there. Yes.
Yeah, it takes vulnerability, like you said, to approach somebody and to subject yourself to rejection. But what's rejection? It's just that's just feedback. You know,
And do you think, so let's say I come to you as a client. Well, I'm curious your perspective. It's 2026, and I say, I wish I could meet someone organically, but it's just not done anymore.
yeah, I think that's the examination, is to really look at that. Is it not done anymore because you're not going anywhere? You know,
Or
you
you don't
just
have, I wouldn't have the guts. Like, I don't know, I would have the confidence.
yeah. I think as we're working through this, that the apps provided a nice respite, if you will, from the organic, especially
Exactly.
for people who are, um, career focused, working a lot, maybe have a lot of different responsibilities, don't afford them
Yes.
a robust social life. I think there's an advantage to that. But also, and then even in a global pandemic, there's an advantage. Everybody's
Yes.
online.
Yeah.
Um, I'm not so sure, because as you and I have been doing this series, my phone thinks that everything that I need to consume has to do with dating.
Yeah.
So I see a lot of different takes on it. I'm not so sure that there's not a lot of fatigue around the apps. Like,
It exhausts a different muscle that, I mean, I think both could work. I just keep coming back to it takes a lot of courage and vulnerability. And it was never, and I just keep thinking about it was never any easier. How did my then nothing, eventual husband know that I didn't have a boyfriend, or the man when I was walking? I mean, I have some funny stories about myself and trying to organically meet someone and finding out they had a girlfriend, but it wasn't embarrassing because it's only, oh, I didn't know. Because I didn't.
right. Yeah, there's not like any necessarily outward sign of, hey, you have a
No.
significant other. I mean, wedding ring may or may not be an accurate.
And I never wore a wedding ring because I lifted so much. And even this man years ago, I could have had a boyfriend, but all I would have said was, oh, no, I'm seeing somebody, or I don't even know what that language would be, but yes. And then he would have gone back into the bushes.
he
Without
got
his
back in his he got back in his van.
I feel like he's a mix between Sherlock Holmes and an abductor.
Yes. My mind's going to, well, there's a kidnapping.
I do remember saying to somebody, "Oh my gosh, I have a first date tomorrow," and they're like, "Oh, that's exciting. Yeah, what are you guys gonna do?" "Oh, I'm meeting him at 5 a.m. in the parking lot of Epoch." Like, what? But for me, it wasn't all that crazy. And kids don't try this at home, but there are a lot of people out on the street. But would you? I mean, let's imagine you're seeing someone because you're really good, especially now having moved and creating your own cheers. I feel like you would say to someone you've seen repeatedly, but maybe not spoken to, would you engage them and ask them out?
That's fascinating. I don't think, they used to be just, I mean, I cultivated a girlfriend out of the pay line at Luby's, the one
So,
right around the corner from your house.
okay, I know it's gone. Did you know that?
No. Oh, that's sad.
So how
Um,
did this happen?
we were literally standing next to each other in line, and she struck up a conversation, and um, we carried that conversation on for a few months, and then ended up dating for a couple years. So
That's it. I mean, that's the kind of, I think we both mythologize the like organic connection, and we forget that it really is everywhere. And maybe that is the phone. Like I met a friend today at Starbucks and was watching people, and everybody's on their phone in line. So maybe on that, in that way, electronics have kind of hindered organic, but you could still have that same connection today.
yeah, and I think too, like maybe there was this when you're younger, there's this more of a, oh, you need to come up with something clever to say or something like that. When I don't think that's the case at all. In fact, maybe something clever, or trying too hard may just be antithetical to what you're to just making a connection.
Well, that's it. And this organic meeting or organic connection requires something of us. It demands that we are willing to risk something. And I think, man, I even fell into it too, that the dating apps don't. I mean, that I understood, but somehow we've extended it to organic connection or opportunities don't exist, but now we're kind of unwilling to take the risk. And when I was newly single, don't know if I knew you then or not. This man in the neighborhood, I thought he was like my age and great, and he had a dog. And I mean, I just engaged him, and this was the man that had the girlfriend, and we've become such good friends, and they're married now, and we all know each other. But it is that sense of it requires us to risk something, embarrassment, if nothing else.
Yeah, and just by engaging doesn't necessarily have to mean that you're
Yeah,
engaging for the purposes of falling in love and happily ever after,
yeah, yeah,
that kind of thing. And I think I've experienced that more, being in a relatively new place where, my social circle was a lot smaller initially, and just being open to all sorts of connections. Um, I've right now, I think I've made quite a few friends just
yeah. I
over
love.
dinner at a
Yeah.
restaurant, just random people that you meet. So
Yes. I mean, I'm going to take and use with myself, friends, clients, all of it. Are we missing organic connection or are we missing? Now I'm stuck on this, but are we missing the version of dating where we didn't have to risk something first? Because even though we're actively swiping, it's pretty passive.
oh, it's totally passive because I mean, I'm gonna date myself here, but you
Every
used
time
to
I
have
say
to.
that, I think date myself. Sorry.
I'm gonna date myself later now, and you have to. Yeah, once upon a time, especially like in high school, you met a girl,
Yes,
you got her phone number, you had to call the
that's
number,
it.
and
That's
then
risk too. Yeah,
invariably one of the parents answered the
yeah,
phone, and then you're
yeah.
having to. It was way more nerve wracking than now. You can just swipe, and you know, it was
It
just.
is, that is exactly it. And I remember that same thing, like just sweating, or even the calling. I mean, I graduated in 91, and I remember sitting there with my best friend, and I wanted to call this guy. I liked him so much. I'm like nervous by the phone. Now you don't have to even risk that. You just text.
Yeah, this. I mean, how many? Please tell me how many times you picked the phone up to call that person, and you dialed the number, and you got right to
Yeah.
the last one, and you hit the hang up
Yeah.
button, and you just did it repeatedly until you're like, okay, here we go. And then it's, I don't know about you, but it's the dad answers and like,
That's
what do
it.
you want
Yep.
to, who are you? Uh,
That's it. So, I mean, I would kind of call bullshit on someone who says, I wish we could go back to meeting people organically because we can, and it's everywhere and it's a risk. But to your point, let's imagine Sherlock Holmes with the trench coat had come out of the bushes and said, I'd like to go for, I wish I could remember what he said. It
would
was
you like this
not,
watch?
It was not weird, for as not weird as something can be at like jarringly 5:30 in the morning. But I actually wonder if I wouldn't have said, like, been taken aback, I'm seeing someone, if he would have said, great, I'd still like to take walks sometime. Like, you can recover. Like, yes, it's the risk. And I think as much as we say, because we all do, our age, dating later, we hate the apps, I also question whether we'd be willing to take the risk that the other way of meeting entails.
Yeah, I think you've nailed it with that. There's an element of risk taking
Yeah.
in doing that. And as we've gone through this here, I say that saying that you can't meet organically is a limiting belief.
Yes, that's it. Yeah, that is exactly it. Because every time you go anywhere, I mean, I don't know if I mentioned that I'm looking for a job, but every time I go anywhere, I really lead with, and I got a lot of this from conversations with you over the years, but both intention and how I'm showing up. Just that I'm open, I want to engage with people, it's making eye contact because you don't know what conversation can happen. I have a friend who, when she was married, would say to me, I get hit on all the time. And I was like, wow, no one ever hits on me in public. And she said, I know, because it's how you're moving through the world. And so that people can tell if we're open, and that's part of the organic connection.
Yeah, I think there's that open energy as part of
Yeah.
it, and then I'm like you. I could probably somebody could be flirting with me, and I would just be
Yeah.
like right over my head because I'm just not going there automatically in my
Yeah.
mind. It's just like, oh, hey, here's this person that's talking to me, you know?
And maybe that's it. Maybe that's because the obvious call to action is, where are you willing to take a risk this week? But that's not really it. It's paying attention to how you're showing up in the world and how you're interacting with others. And I think for every single one of us, there are probably more humans out there that we could connect with and date, not on the apps, just in our home, work, grocery, third spaces, than we even realize. It's out there.
Yeah, I think, and just I'm glad you brought up third spaces because I think that's a just a really valuable
Yeah.
thing, you know.
Yeah.
I was listening to a podcast you'd sent me, I don't know, several weeks ago,
I
and
need to listen to
they
that
were
one. Yeah.
talking about the data showing that you have more of a likelihood of success in dating if you're face to face with somebody over a period of time versus, one off on the apps,
That's it. And I think that's also why it didn't seem so strange when that man out of the blue on the walk, or even the was going to be husband, because I guess I'd noticed him on the bus. But yes, because I'd seen them a few times, it didn't seem as strange.
Yeah, and that is your third space, right? The neighborhood and walking and the gym.
Yeah.
That's a
Yeah.
third space for you. It's kind of all one. It's in the same geofence, if you will.
You taught
So
me that phrase, and I quoted you recently. I was like, I'm not quite sure what this means, but I think I like to stay in my geofence.
your dating app radius is zero point
Yes.
0.4 miles.
Or I would prefer you already live in my condo.
Right. Just like Ford condos over. So
I like it. I think it's I mean, I've been, again, the 1950s, but I think we mythologize everything because in this moment can sometimes seem not so great. So I think we're doing that with organic dating. And I know that the other way is still around, and we need to kind of ask ourselves if we'd be willing to take the risk, and who around us might be trying to take the risk, like you said, not noticing, and we're not even noticing.
yeah, I think we could probably land the plane right there with where is that a limiting belief for you
Yeah.
that organic is not possible, and how are you showing up? I think in part, if that's a belief that you have, you're showing up in a way that doesn't have you be open to the possibility.
Define limiting belief. I mean, I know what it means, and it's kind of context clues, but
I think just anytime you have a belief, whether it's something that you've created on your own or something you've inherited,
Yeah.
either
Yeah.
culturally or from your
Yeah.
family, any type of belief that you haven't examined that may be putting a lid on or a limit on what's possible for you.
That's the key. And that's the phrase that I'd been so focused on the mythologizing that I had not brought in the limiting belief. And that's it. And I think I would say every single person who is dating in 2026 kind of shares the same limiting belief of, I wish we could go back to organic. You can't do it anymore.
Yeah, and I think there's plenty of evidence. If you're open to it, there'll be plenty
Yeah.
of evidence to the contrary.
That is the mic drop. I will
Well,
see you in a week. I am not going to speak to anybody who leaps out of the bushes wearing a trench coat early in
the free candy on the side of the van.
some letters backwards. I will see you next week.
All right, perfect. It's great.
Bye. I didn't know how to turn